NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, stands as one of the most powerful military alliances in history, consisting of 32 nations dedicated to collective defense. However, despite its strength, NATO is not without vulnerabilities. Among its members, one country stands out as a potential weak link due to its strategic location, geopolitical conflicts, economic challenges, and shifting foreign policies. This country occupies a unique position at the crossroads of Europe, Asia, and the Middle East, making it a crucial bridge between different political and military interests. Its control over vital waterways enhances its strategic significance, but at the same time, its internal instability and external relationships pose challenges to NATO's unity. One of the most defining characteristics of this country is its geographical location, which gives it influence over both European and Middle Eastern affairs. It controls a key maritime passageway that connects the Black Sea to the Mediterranean, a critical route for international trade and military operations. This makes the country an essential player in any NATO military strategy in Eastern Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa. However, this also presents a risk. If the country were to block or restrict NATO's access, it could significantly disrupt military and trade operations, affecting European and American interests. Additionally, its proximity to regions of political and military conflict, including disputed territories and active war zones, increases the potential for instability within NATO. The country's economic situation further complicates its role in NATO. Once a rising economy, it has faced high inflation, currency devaluation, and financial instability in recent years. These economic struggles make it increasingly dependent on external investments and financial aid, including from non-NATO states that may have competing interests. This economic vulnerability raises concerns about the country's long-term ability to contribute to NATO's military budget and operations. While some NATO members enjoy economic stability, this country faces a growing financial burden that could weaken its commitment to collective defense. Furthermore, its economy is highly reliant on key trade partnerships outside of NATO, creating potential conflicts of interest when diplomatic or military decisions must be made. Another factor contributing to the country's status as NATO's potential weak link is its military and defense policies. While it boasts one of the largest armed forces within NATO, its defense priorities often do not align with those of the alliance. The country has pursued independent military operations in neighboring regions without full NATO approval, leading to tensions with other members. Additionally, its decision to acquire military technology and weapons systems from non-NATO countries has raised concerns about security risks and divided loyalties. This has led to diplomatic disputes within the alliance, as NATO relies on interoperability and intelligence sharing between its members. If a member state prioritizes its own defense strategies over NATO's collective security measures, it can create distrust and fragmentation within the alliance. One of the most pressing concerns is the country's foreign relations with non-NATO states, particularly those that NATO considers strategic adversaries. Over the years, it has strengthened diplomatic and military ties with nations that challenge NATO's influence on the global stage. These relationships raise questions about how reliable the country is as a NATO ally, especially in times of geopolitical tension. If this country continues to balance its commitments between NATO and external powers, it may create a scenario where NATO cannot fully count on its cooperation during military operations or crisis situations. This dual approach to diplomacy has led some analysts to question whether the country is a true NATO ally or merely a strategic partner with shifting priorities. Internally, the country has faced political tensions and governance issues that could further affect its role in NATO. Changes in its leadership, policies, and public sentiment toward NATO have created uncertainties about its long-term commitment to the alliance. Some political movements within the country have even questioned whether NATO membership aligns with national interests, sparking debates about potential policy shifts in the future. If political instability continues, it could weaken NATO's ability to coordinate effectively and maintain a unified front. In addition to political and economic factors, territorial disputes and regional conflicts involving this country have created friction within NATO. The country has been involved in long-standing disagreements with other NATO members over borders, airspace, and maritime rights. These disputes have led to diplomatic conflicts that make it difficult for NATO to present a fully unified position in global affairs. Furthermore, the country's military actions in neighboring regions have sometimes drawn criticism from other NATO allies, further straining relationships within the alliance. One of the biggest risks associated with this country's NATO membership is the possibility of internal divisions weakening the alliance. NATO functions best when all members share a common strategic vision, But if one country consistently takes positions that conflict with NATO's overall objectives, it can cause delays in decision-making and weaken collective defense efforts. In the event of a major global conflict, NATO's ability to respond effectively could be compromised if this country's stance remains uncertain or unpredictable. Despite these weaknesses, the country remains an important part of NATO due to its strategic location, military capabilities, and regional influence. NATO benefits from having a presence in this part of the world, as it allows the alliance to monitor geopolitical developments and project power where necessary. However, the question remains, is the country more of an asset or a liability to NATO? If its economic struggles, military decisions, and foreign policy shifts continue to create tensions within the alliance, NATO may have to rethink how it manages its relationship with this member. In the long term, NATO will need to decide how to address the challenges posed by this country. Should NATO increase diplomatic efforts to strengthen its commitment? Should the alliance impose stricter policies to ensure loyalty among its members? Or should NATO prepare for the possibility that this country might not always align with its goals? These are critical questions that will shape the future of NATO's effectiveness on the global stage. As NATO faces new threats and evolving global challenges, the stability and reliability of its members will determine its strength. The role of this country will continue to be debated, and whether it remains NATO's biggest weakness or transforms into a stronger ally remains to be seen. What do you think? Does this country weaken NATO, or is its role misunderstood? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth geopolitical analysis.